The rise of a champion. Michael Jordan's story began not on a professional court, but on the cracked pavement of his hometown, Wilmington, North Carolina. As a young boy, he was captivated by the rhythm of basketball, the bounce of the ball, the swoosh of the net. It was on those courts, surrounded by neighbors and friends, that he began to understand what it meant to compete. Yet, despite his love for the game, the first challenge came early. He was cut from his high school varsity team. The sting of rejection was sharp, but it did not break him. Instead, it ignited a fire that would burn for the rest of his life. Jordan took to the gym with an almost obsessive focus, determined to turn his shortcomings into strengths. With relentless practice, he grew both in size and skill, dominating at the junior varsity level, and eventually earning his place on the varsity team the following year. But the doubts others had about his potential would linger for some time. Jordan's growth did not stop there. His journey continued through the University of North Carolina, where he played under coach Dean Smith. It was here that he solidified his place in basketball history, not just as a player but as a clutch performer. His game-winning shot in the 1982 NCAA championship game, with just 15 seconds left on the clock, demonstrated his poise under pressure and his ability to deliver when it mattered most. That shot, now etched in the memories of basketball fans, was the first glimpse of the greatness that lay ahead. But even as Jordan's fame began to grow, he faced the harsh realities of the world he was entering. The 1984 NBA draft was loaded with talent, and Jordan's selection as the third overall pick by the Chicago Bulls was met with both excitement and skepticism. Could he be the player to lead the Bulls back to championship glory? Many doubted it. They questioned his ability to perform in the ruthless environment of the NBA, where the stakes were higher than anything he had faced before. But Jordan had no time for doubt. He was already mentally preparing for the grind that would define his career. In his rookie season, Jordan quickly silenced critics with his explosive scoring ability. He made an immediate impact, averaging 28.2 points per game and winning NBA Rookie of the Year honors. His fearlessness on the court, coupled with his unique combination of athleticism and skill, made him a standout. However, the team's struggles, failing to make it past the first round of the playoffs, reminded everyone that individual brilliance could not win championships alone. For Jordan, that was a challenge, not a setback. He knew the journey to greatness would not be easy, but it was clear. Michael Jordan wasn't just building a career. He was constructing a legacy. And in the back of his mind, he had one simple goal: to prove that he could be the greatest of all time. The world was watching, and Michael Jordan was ready to show them exactly what he was capable of. Overcoming adversity. The 1980s were a defining decade for Michael Jordan, but not without its fair share of hurdles. As his career progressed, so did the challenges that would shape him into the legend he was destined to become. The most significant of these came in the form of the Detroit Pistons, the bad boys of basketball, whose brutal physicality threatened to derail Jordan's ascent. In the mid-1980s, the Bulls were becoming a rising force, but they were still a far cry from championship contenders. Every playoff appearance seemed to end with a bitter defeat at the hands of the Pistons. Jordan's incredible scoring ability was on full display, but it wasn't enough. The Pistons were ruthless, employing a style of defense that targeted Jordan's every move. Every drive to the basket was met with a hard foul, every jump shot contested by a defender who seemed more interested in putting him on the floor than stopping the shot. The brutality of the Pistons' play seemed almost designed to break him. But rather than bow under the pressure, Jordan grew stronger. His game evolved in response to the adversity. He bulked up, worked on his strength, and refined his skills to withstand the aggressive defense that the Pistons threw at him. His determination to get past the roadblock that was Detroit became an obsession, one that fueled his development as a player. The rivalry between Jordan and the Pistons became more than just a contest of basketball skills. It was a battle of wills. Every time the Pistons pushed him to his limit, Jordan found a new way to rise above it. But as much as he was driven by the pursuit of victory, there were moments of personal devastation that threatened to derail his focus. In the summer of 1993, after leading the Bulls to 3 straight championships, Jordan's life was shattered by the tragic murder of his father, James Jordan Sr. The loss was unbearable, and it left Michael reeling, questioning everything. Basketball, the game that had been his escape, suddenly felt irrelevant. The pressure of losing his father, combined with the weight of the world's expectations, led Jordan to make an unimaginable decision. He walked away from basketball. For a brief period, Jordan turned to baseball, a sport his father had always loved. It was a drastic shift, and one that shocked the basketball world. Yet, the competitive fire never left him. The baseball experiment didn't last long, and by March of 1995, Jordan was back in Chicago, ready to reclaim his place on the court. His return to the NBA was met with a mix of excitement and skepticism. Could the greatest player in the world, who had been away for over a year, still perform at the level he once did? Jordan didn't waste any time answering that question. His return was swift and definitive. The Bulls may have struggled initially, but Jordan's competitive spirit reignited their championship aspirations. The NBA had learned something important about Michael Jordan in those 2 years away. No matter the personal or professional obstacles, there was no challenge too great for him to overcome. As Jordan reclaimed his throne, it was clear that his story wasn't just about basketball. It was about resilience, about how the greatest athletes find ways to rise when everything seems to be against them. The world was watching, and Michael Jordan was proving that nothing, not even tragedy or adversity, could stop him. Legacy and impact on the game. By the mid-1990s, Michael Jordan was no longer just a player. He had become the face of the NBA, a cultural icon whose influence stretched far beyond the basketball court. He wasn't just a basketball player. He was a brand, a global symbol of excellence and ambition. But with greatness came immense pressure, and Jordan had to evolve not only as a player but as a leader. The Chicago Bulls had transformed into a dynasty, winning 3 consecutive championships from 1991 to 1993, and Jordan's presence on the court had elevated them to a level few teams could ever reach. His game had reached new heights, a perfect blend of skill, athleticism, and an unmatched competitive drive. But while Jordan's talent was undeniable, the burden of being the face of the NBA weighed heavily on him. Off the court, Jordan was redefining the relationship between athletes and brands. His partnership with Nike led to the creation of the Air Jordan sneaker line, which forever changed the way athletes marketed themselves. The Air Jordan brand became more than just shoes, it became a lifestyle. Jordan wasn't just an athlete now. He was a global phenomenon, admired for his work ethic and unmatched competitiveness. The league's worldwide expansion owed much to Jordan's success. His iconic dunks, breathtaking performances, and relentless will to win made basketball a global sport. His reach went far beyond the U.S. borders, captivating fans in Europe, Asia, and Africa. Every game was a showcase of basketball excellence, and the world tuned in to watch. Yet, even with his soaring fame, Jordan's greatest impact was on the court. He was a competitor in every sense of the word. He would rather lose his last breath than lose a game. His mentality was unparalleled, creating a standard that every player, young or old, sought to emulate. But Jordan's competitive fire wasn't just about winning. It was about elevating the people around him. His leadership was fierce but inspiring. Whether it was through an on-the-court rebuke or an impassioned speech in the locker room, Jordan pushed his teammates to their limits, making them believe that anything was possible. However, not everyone appreciated Jordan's intensity. His rivalry with Magic Johnson, Larry Bird, and later with the rising stars of the NBA, particularly his fierce competition with the likes of Kobe Bryant, was both a testament to his drive and the evolving nature of the game. As Jordan aged, he became a mentor to younger players, teaching them that greatness wasn't just about talent, but about commitment, discipline, and heart. Yet, even in the twilight of his career, the debate remained. Who would one day take his crown? The younger generation, led by players like Kobe Bryant and later LeBron James, looked up to Jordan, but they also understood that surpassing him would be no easy feat. Jordan had set the standard so high that it seemed almost impossible to reach. And even after the Bulls' dominance, After 6 championships and countless accolades, Jordan's legacy was cemented. He wasn't just a player. He was the blueprint for what it meant to be a champion. But with every legend, there is a moment of reflection. Michael Jordan